What's up, world, and welcome back to another episode of Mix in Chat. I'm your boy Javi, here with my boy D'Lo,
Yo, what's up?
and our special guest for this episode, Omega Green.
Yo, what's up, people?
Now let's get into it.
All right, y'all. You know how we start off. What's your number?
All right, so my number today is, I would say, a 8.5. I would say 8.5, really. I got good news that I got the promotion. So,
Good promotion.
It's from actually speaking to the patients at the hospital about
Oh, you were talking
food.
that for a minute.
Yeah, but now I'm actually talking to them about their experience as a whole with food service and housekeeping. So
Okay.
I'm excited about that raise. But that would have put me at a 10. And then feeling the weather outside, it dropped me down to an 8.5.
Yeah,
Took a point and a half
it's been
off
a
of
little,
there.
it's been a little cold out there.
It's very fall weather.
Yeah,
now.
but I ain't gonna lie though. I like hoodie weather. Be a nice little hoodie.
Well, you seem like you're in a good mood. What's your number?
I really want to say about an 8, but I'll keep it 8.5 just because. But it's been a week. I started my auditing page this week, and then so that's kind of been just a little stressful. Yeah, so it's been a little stressful. It's just a little stressful, more stressful than I thought it was going to be.
The auditing phase?
Yeah. And it's not really, it's just more time for me to second guess myself, overthink things.
Yeah.
And, some of the start of the week, it started me off with a bang. Like Monday's claims. It's like,
You killed it.
no.
Oh, no.
Like,
Okay, my
No.
bad.
no, it was not.
You said it started off with a bang, like you
like-
was eating it up.
No, I freaked out. I don't know, man. And then the week got better. I've only missed like 1 or 2. So,
Okay.
out of 20. So it's getting better. Hopefully tomorrow I have a good score from today. So
But I'm glad you were at an 8.5 based
but-
off of that.
well, I mean, what also brings it up is we got somebody here that I know from high school.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like me and him, we've been boys for a while.
Yeah.
So I don't want y'all to think that we just got out of high school. No, I'm 38. We've been out of high school for a grip. But no, we got my friend here, Omega Green, my
Yes.
boy. So he's been doing things on the music tip and all that. So
That's what's up. Yeah, I hear things about Mr. Omega Green.
yeah, man. Tell him what you got, man.
What's your number?
I am probably at about a 7 today.
Okay.
I mean, no lie. Things are constantly happening, staying busy and whatnot, which is dope because there's stuff happening. I'd rather have shit happening than not happening.
Right?
But
Usually that's the way it goes.
I mean, stuff gets hectic. Planning phases of stuff. We have stuff coming up on Saturday of this week, the 19th. We're going to be in Louisville at Headliners Music Hall, and we are going to be opening up for Buckshot and Blaze Dead Homie. It's going to be fucking lit.
Yes.
Like I said, this whole week has been pretty hectic, just trying to get things settled to where I want them to be.
Before you leave to go to Louisville.
Exactly.
Yeah, I honestly wish I can go to that show. I just had some unexpected bills come up. So, but I gotta get out there to see.
I
it all.
definitely tell my landlord that he won't be getting his rent on the 1st. He'll be getting it on the 13th.
Nice.
Because I want to have fun. And he was like, yeah, it's fine. You just have to pay a $20 additional fee. And I'm like, bad.
Yeah.
You're not getting it to the end of October.
You don't tell me. I tell you.
Right? Right?
But-
So, how long have you been doing music? Or
Well,
interested in music? Or
well, I've been interested in music like probably my entire life. I started actually. As a kid growing up, like I enjoyed poetry and whatnot.
yes.
I wasn't really into hip hop in the very beginning. I grew up on like 90s grunge and metal and punk and a whole bunch of stuff that was happening at that time.
Okay.
And
I chimed in with the haven't you people ever heard that type of
well, I mean, kind of like
or hardcore.
yeah, I think more stuff like
Corn.
I can't feel the way I did before. Don't turn your back on me.
No,
I
not-
can't
oh,
feel
now
it.
that's a little bit after the time.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
but,
Y'all know.
Well,
Yeah.
more like
He said that was
Nirvana-
after the time.
Nirvana, Rancid, Rob Zombie.
Okay.
When he was still, it was White Zombie.
There you go.
And then,
okay.
of course, like the classics like Metallica.
Dang,
all
I was
kinds of
barking
shit
up the
like that.
completely different tree.
I know you went on that pop punk stuff.
But no, like I grew up on stuff like that, and then once I got into middle school, I was in a different area, so I hung around with a bunch of different people who were like all they listened to was rap and stuff.
Okay.
So I kind of got into that, and then I started to realize more so with that that there was more of a connection to the poetic side of stuff. So I started, writing lyrics and everything, and once people started to really kind of like gravitate towards them and listen to what I was saying, I was like, oh, people actually like what I have to offer. So as time went on, I clicked up with a bunch of different people over the years, been in like a handful of different groups with different people, but it never really panned out. So here recently, in the past several years, I've started to kind of take it more seriously again, and every single time that I've made the effort, like stuff begins happening. So it's definitely encouraging.
Okay.
So
That's what's up.
We've been pretty active this past year, and I mean we're just going to continue going because more stuff keeps coming our way. So it seems to be, fate, if you will.
Fate put you where you needed to be for this time.
I certainly like to think so. Hopefully, fate will put me somewhere like even iller in the next year.
You know that Lil Wayne? Okay, we can open up for Lil Wayne.
I could do that. We do that.
Hey, in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. All
Tell
right.
about the group that you got.
Right now, I am one of the founding members of Trio. We are called KY Creeps. You can find us on all the socials, Instagram, Facebook. We're everywhere, but that is my main priority right now. It is me, Omega Green, my buddy Dave Mack, and my other homie, Why Not 859. Shout outs to the bros.
Hey, shout out.
And like I said, we've been active for the past year. We took a year, year zero, where we're starting to accumulate like our body of work. And then this past year has really been about getting out and performing, linking up like-minded people, and branding and everything like that. Kind of getting out there and showing people what it is we can do. And like I said, people have been pretty receptive. So, it's all up from here.
That's what's up.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, that's a little bit about Omega Green, who's going to be with us for this full episode. He actually kind of got his own little segment that he's going to talk about later on. But when we come back, we're going to dive into our first segment, which is going to be NASA.
Yeah.
There's some things going on with NASA that are intriguing, but at the same time, I'm a little concerned about, but we'll get into it when we get back. So we'll see you in just a second.
Don't be scared.
Never scared, just concerned. So welcome back, everybody, and let's dive right into it. So NASA has teamed up with SpaceX to shoot a rocket towards Jupiter.
Hold on. Let me. I gotta correct you on that because we go have a fact check. So they didn't team up with.
It's not a team up?
No, it's not a team up. So what they did was SpaceX. They let SpaceX use the Kennedy space, the launch pad.
So this is a SpaceX mission,
It's a SpaceX
but
mission,
put on the Kennedy pad.
right?
Okay, well, let me rephrase. SpaceX has teamed up with NASA to use their pad to shoot a rocket towards Jupiter's moon Europa. And the reason that they did this is because it is a water world, apparently, and they want to see if there's life in the depths of those waters. It'll take 30 years. No. Not
Well,
30 years.
it's kind of it's not really a water planet. It's frozen, but
Yeah.
underneath the ice
It's
is
water.
water.
Yeah.
So it's ice on the outside, and then it goes to water on the inside. So they're trying to drill into and see what's in that ice and see if there's
Life.
life in the water
Yeah.
to where
So it's a water world. It's just frozen.
it's a frozen world.
It's
with
a
water.
frozen water world. Kind of like Jupiter, but Jupiter's not considered a planet anymore. But yeah, so they're taking this.
You say Jupiter's not considered a planet?
Pluto's not considered a
Okay.
planet
I thought you said
anymore.
Jupiter.
I probably did. I'm so tongue tied right now. But so
we got
this
checking them this whole
Europa is one of Jupiter's moons, and it's going to take 5 years for the rocket to reach. Or no, it's not even a rocket.
5.5.
5.5 years. Facts. It'll be there in 2030. And they are just trying to see if there's any signs of life deep in the depths of this frozen water planet moon. And I'm interested in seeing, but hell, we got to live to 2030 for that to happen. So I'm going to say this, but we'll talk about it later. Make sure y'all get out there and vote. It's very important. But what y'all think about this? As far as NASA?
I'm always interested in space and space missions.
Okay.
I find it funny that we still can't. We can send a satellite to Jupiter and Pluto and all these places, but we still can't get back to our own moon since 1961.
Is it that we can't get there, or that they don't want to go there?
I don't think we're allowed there.
I think that they want to land on the opposite side of our moon, but somebody already beat them to it.
Yeah. I don't think we're allowed there.
Why do you say that?
Well,
Is it the aliens that are on the moon don't let us come?
so apparently, it's like Buzz Aldrin and all them. They have came out, the ones that first landed on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
They have came out and said that they've seen some things and been told some things while they was out on the moon. That's the reason why we ain't been back there. So
Yeah, aliens were like, get the fuck out.
pretty much.
Don't
So
come
apparently,
back.
on the dark side of the moon, this is why they said we can't go on the dark side of the moon. Well, one, it drops so many degrees.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's just a front, because on the other side of the moon, there's supposedly an alien base that.
But didn't India just land on the opposite side of the moon?
Huh?
Wasn't it India that just landed over there?
I'm not
think
entirely sure.
so.
I believe so. It was not too long ago. Somebody landed on the side of the moon that everybody's been trying to get to.
It was just America. The aliens don't want Americans.
Yeah. No, somebody just landed because they didn't think that they were going to be able to land because they thought one of the landing gears was broken, but they ended up landing. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
And we don't have to check those facts because those facts are facts. Invalid.
I'm still gonna fact check
You do that. If I could,
I'm gonna
use
do my own
phone.
research.
But yeah, like I think it's interesting because they're going out there to discover, well, to figure out if there's life that has, if the moon has the values to create life. My thing is, y'all need to be going out there to see where we can move to, because this planet ain't gonna last too much longer, honey. It's already got things
I
trying to
think
fly
that's-
into its orbit.
I honestly think that's why they're doing this.
But how do they plan on melting that planet, that moon,
Don't
for us to live
necessarily
on it?
think they're gonna be melting the planet. It's just they're trying to figure out if we can land.
Like, bro, that's like the most American thing ever. They're like, it's an ice planet. Let's melt it so we can get the water.
Yeah.
But no, real talk though, because I'm like, as impractical as it may seem in the moment, I'm kind of like, obviously for research purposes, to be like, okay, let's see if there's life there. Let's see if eventually maybe it could create a habitable environment type shit.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, it could be like some really simplistic stuff. Be like, well, damn, be like, this planet's like heating up currently, and be like, maybe we can just bring back some really big chunks of ice and drop them in the ocean, get our icebergs back. You dig?
Yeah, ain't that?
I mean, no, that's like mad impractical. I'm just saying, like, it's
It's very impractical, but that would be cool if they could. But my concern with the whole them going over there and doing all that is is this just a, and it's not a foreshadowing. What is the word I'm looking for? Is this just noise to cancel out what they're doing at home? Is there something going on that we need to be paying attention here as opposed to what they're doing out there? Because there's always something going on with P. Diddy because there's something going on in the back. Something going on with Trump because there's something going on in the back.
Oh, there's definitely.
They're doing this. They're putting out this bill, but guess what's attached to it?
Oh yeah.
Like my concern is that there's something deeper going on, and I need to know what it is. Very much.
Well, yeah, but of course, you know, with P. Diddy and then Trump is always going something in the back, and it's probably going to go deep. But
you are disgusting. We are going to cut that part of this out.
You should never use Trump and Diddy in the words deep, going deep, all put together.
But they're calling this something. They calling this the Europa Clipper.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, it's just it's a satellite. It's going to be a satellite first.
Yeah, that's going out there.
And then probably the way the satellite will be, it'll probably drop some type of drone, kind of what they did with Mars.
Yeah,
they'll have a drone or something to drop off, and then they'll take their samples or whatever.
So it's supposed to orbit Europa.
Yeah, it's going to orbit first, and
yeah,
they're probably going to get the lay of the
like
land.
a flyby. Yeah.
Yeah. And
send us some sickening pictures back.
The robot down there to take the samples and see what's going on. My concern is, so there's been diseases and other animals here on Earth that has been woken back up because the ice caps are melting.
Diseases in other animals? What animals?
Like bacteria. Like they have a real live woolly mammoth, baby woolly mammoth that got unfroze because of the frozen ice caps.
And it's alive?
Yeah.
It's alive.
Well,
they've talked about cloning the woolly mammoths.
But it's still in like hibernation stage because it was been on cryoblast for a while, so for a long time. So
yeah,
it's one of those things that they say it can come back to life.
So, oh my God, imagine what diseases were here before we got here, and bacterias and stuff before we evolved.
Right.
And now that stuff is being brought back out. Was COVID one of them?
Nah.
No.
Becca was like, nah, bro. No, they made that and sit there.
Yeah, they was trying. I think they on that one they was trying to do some crowd population control, and it got out of hand.
My whole thing is, y'all gonna go over to this moon. You're gonna land this thing on this moon, satellite, whatever it is, and then you're gonna bring it back 5 years.
Yeah.
What's gonna be on that? Is there diseases over on that moon that you're bringing back to us?
Space age bacteria, man.
Yeah, space age murder.
Virus.
Yeah, space life.
Yeah.
Nah, see, my thoughts is regarding all that is like, to project that it'll bring anything back is really optimistic, because I'm thinking about what happened to the rover on Mars when it got stuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, imagine like an ice planet where there's all kinds of like nooks and crannies and shit, and like, I mean, just take one false move and that thing's like down in a divot.
Yeah.
You know?
And we never get it back.
Yeah, exactly. And it'd be like, well, damn, there goes our samples or whatever it was we were trying to do. Now we got to send another one. So it'll be another like 15 years before it gets there.
See.
And that's probably what's going to happen, to be honest with you. But I don't know. Like, I do agree. It's probably some type of way to get people's minds off of what's really going on here, and the fact that, you know, we have an idiot campaigning to be a president.
Oh yeah. You
know,
but I think that it's not deflecting people's minds from what's going on right now. They would want it to.
Well, space things don't have their effect like it used to.
Like it used to.
Like
for me, it does.
I remember, for me it does. But I remember when I was a kid and going up in middle school and high school, we would watch the launches in school.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we would learn about each mission that was being put out there.
My question is, are they still creating rockets in class? Because in my science classes, we always created rockets and shot them off. I guess that's back when space.
I don't know, man. parents have gotten too white for that. They probably don't.
Not too white. Did you say white?
No, light.
Oh, I thought you said too white. I'm like, hold on, not too white, because it was black people too.
They're got too sensitive nowadays. Like they don't want to, like, you know what I'm saying. You got to sign permission slips for everything.
Speaking of sensitivity and signing permission slips, I think we need to get our political candidates to sign permission slips, and they need chaperones and sponsors and everything, because this campaign is crazy.
Yeah.
This campaign is one crazy campaign. But when we come back in just a second, we're going to dive into that. Do you have any more on the NASA thing?
No, there's really not much to be spoken.
Yeah, like we're going to keep bringing that to you as it falls. But right now, they sent it out. It was successful.
We'll see y'all in about 5.5 years.
Yeah. Unless something happens to where they send back a signal or they lose signal.
Yeah.
Then we'll let you know.
Or the people on the other side of the moon shoot it down because they're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know?
Or the aliens decide they want to visit and take over our podcast. Yeah. But we'll be back in just a second to go into campaign season.
Speaking of the campaign.
Yes.
So have you heard?
I'm tired. I am fucking tired.
Do you see the whole dance party he tried to pull at his rally?
Is that what we're calling it? Because he clearly cannot dance with his fist pumps. Those are embarrassments.
Yeah, you call that one the double handy.
Yeah,
the double. That's what he calls it.
He thought he had Putin and Kim Jong Un in his hands.
Yeah.
Possibly. Y'all are nasty today.
Business.
Y'all are really coming for it. So apparently he wants to turn our military against us.
Yeah. So
and he also wants to do a mass deportation.
Yeah.
Of people that are in line for their citizenship. He even wants them to go home.
Yeah, and then what's the biggest platform he thought he could sell that on was Telemundo.
Or was it Univision?
It was Univision. Yeah, it was Univision.
But I will say that he does have high numbers with Hispanic men.
Yeah,
even though he did all that, he still has high numbers with Hispanic men.
Yeah.
I think
it might be drooping.
I think that might change after his Univision.
After Telemundo.
Yeah, after his Univision fiasco, because they was not feeling him at all. They was not feeling it.
I'd like to think so, but sometimes people will surprise you.
Yes.
In the worst ways.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not wrong about that. I mean,
they might not like what he's saying, but they might like what he stands for.
Yeah. I mean, either that, or they just don't want to vote for Kamala, and it's just I don't know.
I don't know. I think with that specific group of people, it might be more of like a machismo type thing.
Yeah.
Where, it could be they don't want to vote for a woman. It could be, a handful of different things. But either way, I can guarantee you any of their reasons aren't probably really logically thought out.
Yeah.
It's usually more gut feeling type shit rather than actually looking at subjects in depth.
Yeah, because all he's got now is just making people fear. Like, that's basically all he's got.
He's fear mongering. Not just that, but he's preying on the people that are racist, that are against women's rights, that are against homosexuality, that are pretty much those good old boys.
Yeah.
That's who he wants. That's the people you can tell by the way he talks, by the things that he does, by that whole fucking rally being nothing but a music avenue. Because all he did was play music for 30-45 minutes and did nothing else.
He
thinks he hasn't won already.
On Univision, he straight up, they asked him about January 6th.
Is that what it's called? Univision?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
I don't know why I looked at you like that. I mean, you could be mixed with something. I don't know why I stared at you like that.
I actually am. I'm half Mexican.
Period.
Yeah.
And half white?
Yeah.
Okay, how did I know? Look, because you didn't have no chocolate in you. I know.
But no, they asked him about January 6th, and he said that it was a day of love.
It's all love, baby.
It was all love. They had the weapons. We didn't have he said we didn't have the weapons.
Yeah.
Who's we?
I,
So he stands with the people that marched, or is he standing with the
stood
people?
for the people
Well,
that
yeah.
marched down there? Like,
they brought like caches of weapons and shit.
Yeah, they were ready.
They were
Yeah.
pipe bombs. They got discovered, I believe, outside of the DNC
and
office or whatever.
and
up
it's
there.
funny. It's funny on his part, but it's not funny that that guy did get shot at his rally, at his so-called assassination attempt.
Oh yeah,
but
that's fucked up.
But he's quick to bring up those families. But what? And you're supposed to be about the boys in blue. What about the families of the U.S. Capitol Police that died that day?
Yeah. What about the life of your vice president, who you didn't care about when all that was going on, and he could have died, and that's why he hasn't backed you?
They built the guillotine right there in the middle of the field, with the noose hanging from it.
There's a
He
lot.
knew what was up.
Oh yeah, had to, and was like, "Get me out of here. Get me back to the White House.
And then
Let me hide."
And then JV Vance is dumb enough to believe.
JD, don't say JV because that's me.
No, I
J.
said
Oh,
JD.
okay.
I said JD.
Like, don't you correct it now?
Yeah, nah,
fact
we ain't
check
doing
real
that.
quick.
Nah. We ain't doing that. But nah, I mean, his vice president, his running mate, seems like that's not a problem. Like,
They still don't see that they didn't give up peacefully. That's my thing. They think that what he did was a peaceful release of power,
Well,
a peaceful transition of power. No,
yeah,
it still ain't peaceful. You still talking about it. So how is that peaceful?
yeah. And then they're sitting there saying we're talking about it.
You're going to court for those reasons.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. It's like, of course I'm gonna talk about it, man. Like, what the fuck? Like, what?
I never thought I'd see that in my lifetime.
Yeah, I was pretty fucking upset when all that shit was going on. I didn't understand like how they were allowed to do a portion of any of that. Like showing up for a quote unquote peaceful demonstration is one thing,
right.
but like when it gets to the point where you're crushing police officers in the doors, and it's just, I don't know, a lot of it didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. But when you kind of like look at all the evidence that's been collected, it's easier to see the larger picture of things. Like before that ever happened, once he had actually lost in November, he started going to work immediately to come up with things like fake slates of electors and, trying to pressure people. I think it was, what was it, dude in Georgia?
Yeah.
Trying to pressure him to quote unquote
Kill.
like find votes and shit. And that is definitely one thing that I will commend a lot of I'll call them classic Republicans on doing, is not going along with this bullshit. Even Mike Pence is like, dude, I don't have to like believe in your policies or any of that shit, but if you stand up and you're like, nah, I'm not gonna do this crooked shit, just because you want to basically remain in office, like I give those people credit where it's due, for real.
Well, that, and I mean, it's just one of those things of like he built it up and built it up and built it up, and then he had his rally that he just said he just went to do a speech. You was the captain of the fucking ship. Don't get it.
Oh,
don't get
yeah.
it
Oh
twisted.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Y'all listened to what like?
Yeah, no. So
Yeah.
I got into an argument with a family member. I'm not gonna say who.
Right.
But I've gotten into
His
an argument.
cousin. No, I'm just
No,
playing.
shit.
I'm just
it's
playing.
Somebody little close. Somebody's.
I'm just playing. I don't
closer to
know.
home than that.
I have no
I
idea.
mean, I am close to my cousins, but no, we got into an argument because he tried to say that he tried to do that whole Trumpism, do your own research thing, and I was like, I don't have to do my own research. I watched it. I
Right.
had nothing to do but with a broken foot during a lockdown to watch it and see what happened.
It was
Like,
crazy.
I watched
He
every
literally
minute of
Told them exactly what he wanted them to do.
it. Yeah.
And then he tried to say it smoothly, but to the people that were paying attention to what he was saying, he pretty much told them, go fuck shit up.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. and-
Trial by combat.
We not leaving. Go take it.
Yeah.
Go take it back. Because it's yours. That is your house. Go take it.
And then that's what he's doing this time. He's telling them if we win, the only reason we lose is if they cheated.
My thing is, My biggest fear is he will win because of all the cheating that's about to happen.
Well,
And when I say cheating, I mean all of the foreign votes that we're about to get, because I think that they're going to get in. And I think that that's what he's working on. And I think that it's also ironic, and I might be far-fetched or reaching, but I feel like they are going to use satellites, and they're going to use like waves to send in a whole bunch of votes and money for his campaign, because they've already made it to where like they can receive foreign money. It's not considered foreign money, but they can have votes of people donate to them and not have any place of where it come from.
Yeah, I think if anything, what they're likely going to be relying on is just causing chaos, because with a lot of the attempts,
Terrified that man's going to win. I'm out of here.
The last minute rule changes.
Yeah.
With some of the things with voting and everything, and then just basically trying to muddy the waters enough, because it's already pretty well established at this moment that things are really close.
Yeah.
And with the way the shit works is that like if things don't go his way, like he's gonna contest it. And I mean it's his right to contest it for like a recount and everything. But it's also like if they muddy the waters enough, especially with the base, to be like to confuse them, to be like, oh, it was stolen or whatever, then it's like, yeah, they're gonna believe that no matter what.
Yeah.
He's saying it. But on top of that, it'll eventually get to a point to where if some stuff is up in the air, then it might end up getting kicked to the House. And if the House gets to fucking decide, then you know who they're going to pick, because the Republicans have the majority. And they picked fucking, Mike Johnson as the Speaker of the House, because he was one of the early proponents of trying to overthrow the last election.
Yep.
And then... because I mean, it's not a coincidence that Elon Musk, who owns SpaceX, by the way,
oh god, her dancing at that rally,
has satellites out around the Earth.
Yeah.
But
he's not from here.
And yeah. But I mean, I give Kamala, she's doing her thing. I mean, she did that interview with Fox News, who rarely gets a Democratic candidate to even do an interview,
and she ate him up in that interview. Yeah, she let him have it.
Like I said, she's doing her thing.
She called him out on all of it. Like how y'all gonna chop up this clip that Donald Trump did?
I mean,
and spin it like he didn't say what he said. No, let me rephrase exactly what he said and how he said it. Let them
honestly,
have it.
I want to see a team up between Jasmine Crockett, AOC, and Kamala Harris.
But Kamala Harris is out there doing her thing, though.
I don't know if they'd be able to handle all that.
Kamala's out there doing her thing.
Yeah, and then you have Congresswomen doing their thing with like Jasmine Crockett. She's fighting everybody part of Project 2025.
Oh yeah,
she's going at them.
Oh yeah,
Marjorie Taylor Greene, or whatever her name is, she's going at them. She don't care.
But yeah, that's my biggest fear, is that foreign money is going to get in here, and when I said satellites, that's what I was referring to was Elon. He's not from here.
Yeah,
but he's probably one of the biggest contributors to Trump's case.
Yeah,
Trump's election.
But the thing is, you got a lot more people that is contributing to Kamala's race.
That's true. But if he's in cahoots, if Trump's in cahoots with all the foreign adversaries, with all the foreign leaders that are against America, and they see that Trump's running, and he's talking, you even said it, that he was talking to Putin when he wasn't president.
Yeah.
What do you think those conversations was about? Well, I'm going to try this again, and this year, y'all going to help me out.
Yeah, they already know he'll sell America down the river.
Been doing it.
There's no question about
He's doing it as we speak.
I think things are going to be taken a lot more serious in this election.
You would want them to.
Well, you heard about that mayor that got locked up, indicted for foreign contribution to his campaign.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Where was this at? Is this
New York. Yeah. And then and they're not gonna let that happen. They're gonna try to beef up security for they're not going to let another January 6th happen.
Well, I'd certainly like to think so.
Yeah, so I think things are going to be taken a lot more serious. We might be heading for another lockdown during the election. So it's just.
I'm gonna tell y'all now. Get ready.
Yeah, I mean, and everybody's got to show out, and everybody's got. I hate to say it, but everybody's got to show up and turn everything blue.
And make sure your gun is in your car. Because, baby, this election stuff is going to happen.
I mean, even here, they're pushing the election fraud so much that we even have a bullshit amendment on our ballot, Amendment 1, which is supposedly supposed to crack down on non-citizen voting, which doesn't happen anyway.
It's already illegal.
So, and I haven't read, like, there's not really a quick, like, black and white pamphlet that you can read about it.
Right.
It only gives you the highlights. But I guarantee you there's stuff in there that's not right. Because it's a Republican-made bill.
This stuff, this probably, pushed in the bill with there that has nothing to do with that.
Exactly. And then you don't know. Like, they might have it to where Omega Green over here can't even vote just because of his heritage. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like,
well, I mean, just like with the mass deportations and whatnot. Like, I mean, yeah, they're talking about deporting what they call illegal immigrants or whatever. But, I mean, real talk, with that style of leadership, if you want to call it that, it wouldn't be outside of the realm of possibility to them basically just round up whoever the fuck doesn't agree with them.
That's exactly what it is.
And anybody who happens to look, you know, because I mean, at that point, if everything is stacked with loyalists, like, who's going to be there to be like, hey, no, this person belongs here, you can't send them away? Or even if, like,
no, because they're going to be too. Yeah, as soon as you step up against me, baby, you gone with them.
Exactly.
Which country you won't go to?
But all of this, like a lot of people with the Project 2025 and whatnot, supporters are of course gonna say that he has nothing to do with it. He's tried to distance himself from it. But before it was ever even a thing, back when they were running back in 2020, they had already laid out a bunch of bullet points for what he was going to try to do if he got his second term. And that included stuff that's already in Project 2025, like ending birthright citizenship, mass deportations, and like all this other crazy shit. Stuff that was like too crazy for regular people for him to run on in his first term. So now that he's coming back, he's pretty much kind of like, they've gotten together with other people and they've beefed it up more. And even they acknowledge, they're like, yeah, he has to distance himself from it. Like, you know, we're not hating, we get it, you know. But I mean, that's real talk though. It's like, he may not have written it, but they are policy positions that are very lockstep with the current iteration of the Republican Party.
It's wild to me that he would try to end the fact that people that are born here by like immigrants are not considered citizens. If you are born in this country, baby, you're a citizen of this country.
That's right. That's me.
Yeah. Like, but my thing is, wasn't Trump's mom an immigrant?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I think his dad was from here, but his mom was an immigrant.
Current wife is an immigrant.
Facts. Yeah. So does that mean that Barron gotta go?
Yeah. Pretty much. Ivanka.
I mean, you would think so, but it's the whole
it's
for me and not for
it's nepotism.
It's definitely the me.
It's only for the people that he feels like aren't for his agenda.
Oh yeah, and that's what he was using. That's what he said he was going to use the military for. The military and the reserves. Was to go after people that don't agree with him.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of Syria when Assad refused to step down, and that motherfucker's still there.
Yeah, and then it's like, you know, we have other stuff that on Kentucky's ballot that don't really mean anything and will contribute to anything. It's just we could have used that space for something else that would actually help us.
Yeah.
You know, like Amendment 2, where it's supposed to take funds from
public schools
and put them to non-conventional school methods.
So like private schools.
So private schools, homeschooling, which homeschooling, okay,
I can see that.
I can see that
because it's still kind of public, but
Yeah,
it's private.
but
it's in the public sphere.
Yeah.
but
Because you're still
it's-
using the public curriculum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's one of those things of like
Big word of the day, curriculum.
So, but it's like, teachers about one of the most underpaid
Yeah.
people in the United States.
Yeah, they're hella undervalued
For what
man.
they do.
My
You know
thing
what I'm
is,
saying?
it's a
And
private
and
school.
when you get to smaller counties like in Kentucky, like where I'm from, Mason County, that salary goes down a lot more.
Yeah.
So you're going to take away from that to go through private school, which is funded by millionaires.
Mm,
Yeah. Well,
right.
it seems to be a part of a larger trend. Like, obviously,
They're trying to defund schools.
Yeah.
well, yeah, because I mean, at every opportunity to cut funding from public education, they will take it, and by they, I of course mean Republicans.
And that's part of Project 2025's plan, is to defund the Board of Education.
Yeah. And they're trying to do it here with Amendment 2
yeah,
in Kentucky.
but
A
that's what I'm saying.
Republican
It's
state.
like, it is, but it's like if you can take away the legitimacy of public education and convince people to go into private schools, largesse, then it's like they constantly talk about public schools are indoctrinating and everything. I'm like, bro, that's exactly what private schools could do. Especially like a lot of them are religious based schools and everything.
Yes.
I'm like, how is that not exactly what you're talking about? Is like wanting people to learn about the environment, accurate American history, whether you like it or not.
Say it!
Yeah. and,
Yes!
like all that shit is like, you don't want people to learn about that, but you will cut funding for the masses so that they don't get a good education, that will pump out people who are generally kind of ignorant. And in my opinion, I think that's kind of what they want, so that they can complain about the public education system, but also when you're kind of ignorant and you're not taught the things that you should, you're very vulnerable for people like them.
Just
to
go
take-
with the
to take
wind.
Well, yeah,
advantage of you.
Just
because-
go with the
because
wind.
I've said this for years. I think they need to add a curriculum in the public school system to teach them life situations, as far as like
Home
grades.
economics. Why did they take that out?
Like, and not
It
even
taught
that,
me how to
yeah.
cook and sew, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
mean, it's like learning credit.
Yeah.
Learning interest to buy a home. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Learning how to pay rent.
That you need when you get out of high
Yeah,
school.
saving to buy a car. Teach me real life shit, because I have yet to use algebra. I have yet to use calculus. I have yet to use chemistry. I have yet to use, hell, pretty much anything that y'all taught me.
Yeah. And so it's just one of those things. It's just,
Calculus was the stupidest shit.
Oh, I bet. Geometry was stupid.
Yes.
Like, the only thing that got me interested is because I like physics.
Okay.
Right?
I mean, like,
You might not be saying that if you were a carpenter.
You know?
but that's the thing though. You're not going to use them unless you go into
To a
these
specialized
fields. You know what I'm
field,
saying?
yeah.
Like that, but
Teach me life's basics.
but when you don't teach kids that to begin with, it makes them susceptible when they get out of high school to go get loans, go get credit cards, and mess up their credit.
Oh yeah.
I messed up my credit when I came out of high school. I'm
Oh,
still
yeah.
trying to fix it. I still don't know how to fix it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like people don't know, and now they have it to where you can look up your credit score on the app, which back when we was in high school, if you looked up your credit, then it was going to take your points down,
It still does. It just depends on where you look.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you get a hard credit, you get one free hard credit a year.
Yeah.
After that, it takes your points down. But like,
I hope they don't do a
Karma-
background check on me, because that's going to take points.
like Credit Karma,
Oh, yeah. I love Credit Karma.
Experience, stuff like that. That gives your credit score.
Credit Karma's my baby mama.
But as far as like going for a job and you look at your credit, it's not going to take your score.
Yeah.
As
But if you go to get a card
Yeah,
and they check your credit, it will.
yeah,
A couple of points.
But it's just things like
It
that.
took me down 16 points when they checked mine.
Oh yeah, there was a car place that me and Tamara went to, and she was looking at cars, and they ran her credit for every car she test drive, and she test drove with like 4 or 5 cars that day.
Speaking of becoming illiterate with schools being defunded, medical marijuana is taking a step up in the game in Kentucky.
And that's the one thing we can agree with.
I mean, it's gonna dumb you down just for a short amount of time, but then, it actually, if you get the right strand, it'll make you real smart.
It'll make you real smart.
Yeah. So when we come back, we're gonna get into some medical marijuana or just laws that are coming to Kentucky, and we're gonna let Mr. Omega Green let us know about what's going on.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you in a second. All right, y'all. So welcome back to Mix in Chat. And now it's time to turn it over to Omega Green, who's going to dive into some new laws with medical cannabis and some other things. What's up, Omega?
All right. Well, to give every listener here a general roundabout, like who the fuck am I type deal, I have been a long, bless you. I have been a long advocate of a cannabis plant, hemp, things like that in general, and I have worked in the hemp industry since 2018. So I have a lot of experience with processing it from its flower state to running extraction machines, distillate, isolate, all that, and even like end products and stuff like making gummies and things like that. So I like to think that I'm pretty knowledgeable. Not perfect, but I can give you a good rundown on the essentials.
Okay.
In Kentucky right now, in 2023, on March 16th, Kentucky Senate approved SB 47, Senate Bill 47, in a 26-11 vote. On March 30th, the House of Representatives followed suit in a 66-32 vote. And then on the very next day, March 31st, Governor Beshear signed it into law. Now, in 2024, the House got together and passed HB 829, which was a little bit of good and bad. I mean, it depends on the way that you look at it. But ultimately, the positive thing was it was allowing cultivators to begin their operations ahead of time because everything starts to kick in on January 1st, 2025. So HB 829 gave people the ability to start cultivating so that we would have some kind of supply in state by the time that the program actually kicks off. Now, potential issues in the bill were one, the opt-out, which is to say that, say, if you're a business and you've spent all this money on building it up because you're, trying to get into the market and whatnot, well, if you were to get approved after investing all that money and everything, and your municipality decides to get together and vote to opt out of it, well, you're just shit out of luck. All that money's gone nowhere. Yeah, you're going to have to...
Basically, it's like if your county opts out of it, then you're screwed.
Yeah, exactly. But there's only been, I think, maybe a small handful of counties that have even talked about it.
I think it's like maybe 29 counties.
The Bible Belt.
Yeah, they opted out of it.
Yeah, I can see that. But HB 829 also disqualifies most people with a violent felony or a felony drug conviction in the last 5 years from participating in the program. Which, I get the whole thing about violent crime and everything, but I'm also like other people who just happen to be felons. Maybe they've served their time or whatever,
Maybe if they smoke a little bit of weed, they won't be violent.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you never know. But as it states right now, cultivation of 5 or more cannabis plants is a felony under Kentucky law. Multiple bills were filed to end cannabis prohibition completely, but the legislature adjourned for the year, and none of them
and that's
were
happened
able to
every
pass
time. That
anything.
happens every time.
Yeah, it's like we're only going to get so far at the moment. To qualify to legally use and access medical cannabis, patients must have a qualifying condition, a written certification from a practitioner, and that would be a doctor or an advanced nurse practitioner who can prescribe controlled substances, and a state ID card. By that, I'm pretty sure they don't mean just have an ID for the state, but a medical license to access it that you've been paid, or you've paid and got approved for. And you obviously can't have a disqualifying felony conviction.
And these are for the people that want to get it to use it, or the people that want to cultivate and sell it?
Well, that's a conversation for another time. Right now, what we're hitting on is just the basic consumer level, patient level stuff.
So you would have to have a written note from the doctor,
Yeah, to get
and
you approved.
a card.
Yeah, it's a
Because
medical
right
marijuana
now
card.
it's just a written note from your doctor to take it to. Because I am able to
Right.
get it, and I was approved by my doctor. I got my certification, and I went to Missouri. I think I went to Michigan,
Yeah.
and I purchased and I brought it back. I was terrified coming through either Cincinnati or Ohio or Illinois or Indiana, because neither one of them allow you to have it.
Yeah.
So
Well, because that was the thing. Prior to 2023, when everything really started happening, in 2022, I believe it was, Bashir signed an executive order
yes,
to provide protections
yeah,
to people that are like going out of state to get it and to bring it back.
yeah.
And now that was the case about Ohio, but now Ohio has it recreational.
Yeah, so they're kind of like they're just doing their thing.
Oh, we need to move to Ohio.
I mean, we just need to make a trip to Cincinnati one
Yeah,
time.
so I don't know if I don't know if I want to live in Ohio.
Yeah, I'm not living in a. I'll go there and come back, but I ain't
Just
living
live in
Ohio.
Fort Thomas. Live on the Kentucky side of the
Oh,
river.
no.
No,
I would
no.
probably live in Newport. Maybe.
So, all right, look,
Just
Yeah.
I am
go
not
over
the
moving
river
to
and
Northern,
Yes,
you know.
Newport on the Levee.
Yeah.
Northern Kentucky people piss me off.
I used to live there.
Are you just jealous? Is that what it is?
No,
Yeah.
I'm not. They.
I don't know.
So-
a little defensive there.
Yeah,
I'm from the northeastern
Right.
Kentucky.
Northeastern. Y'all hear
Yeah,
that in his
no,
accent?
No, let's make they made that clear to me before. So you know, I was doing Uber and Lyft at the time. And I was
Gotcha.
picking people up from I would go up to Cincinnati, go up to Newport and everything, and I would I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm from North Kentucky too. And they're like, oh yeah, where from? And I'm like, Maysville, and they're like, that's northeastern. I'm like, okay,
Okay, man.
I'm still on the Ohio River in northern Kentucky,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
You're the hazard of northern Kentucky.
You're right.
Facts.
Be happy.
So yeah,
Okay.
it's yeah.
But yeah,
But oh, sorry, my bad.
No, you're good.
So qualifying conditions that we have are any form of cancer, chronic, severe, intractable, or debilitating pain, epilepsy, or any other intractable seizure disorder, multiple sclerosis, muscle spasms or spasticity, chronic nausea, cyclical vomiting, post-traumatic stress disorder, and pretty much any other medical condition or disease that the Kentucky Center for Cannabis finds appropriate. Over time, it probably will expand to include other things as our market starts to develop.
Yeah.
And doctors and nurses. Can
they
get
start
in.
to see how much money's coming in and they want more.
Yeah, so and what makes me mad about that list is there's nothing for mental disorders.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think as time continues on, the list of qualifying conditions will expand. Because
But yeah, it's been taking years
To get to this
for us
point.
to even get to this point. So I hate to see what it's going to be like. And I mean, but see, and that's the thing that I've said for years. Like, Kentucky needs a cash crop. We send dirt to people out of state that have it because our soil is so good for it. And like towns like Maysville. And I've said this in a previous episode, like towns like Maysville who made their money off tobacco,
right.
in the decline of tobacco, it tore that little town apart. You know what I mean? It was one of the biggest distributors, one of the biggest sellers, marketers to where they have sales for and stuff like that. It can bring these towns back to life.
Yeah, it's long been a historical thing with Kentucky producing the quality ganja,
Yeah.
But now I think we're only kind of getting back around to where we kind of should be,
And I mean, it's been on a probation just because it was supposed to. They made people fear it because of tobacco,
Right.
and they thought they could sell tobacco and be a little bit more profitable with that. And so they did a whole campaign on how marijuana is bad, and that's where the prohibition for marijuana came into place to begin with.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, like I said, people get out there and vote. This is an important one.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
What else you got on this
So,
on this cannabis?
Yeah.
What you-
Well, right now, we've come a long way. Like, I'm kind of surprised that we managed to get to this point now, because where we're at, like, we're gonna have people to kind of oversee it, and nothing's perfect, but we'll get there. Like, right now, the regulatory authority, as far as like who's going to be overseeing stuff within the state, is going to be the Cabinet of Health and Family Services. They'll oversee implementation, operation, oversight, and regulation of the medical program.
I need a job. Nah.
I fucking feel that. But
we get discounts.
Hey, that would be nice.
Could you imagine?
But at this point, they got a 9-member board of physicians and advisors that they're creating. And it's going to have 7 physicians and 2 advanced nurse practitioners with prescriptive authority, of course. And they'll make recommendations, including like how much cannabis constitutes a 10-day or a 30-day supply, which will vary depending on patient to patient. They will also be responsible for adding or removing qualifying conditions and performance standards for the medical cannabis businesses. And the State Board of Medical Licensure and the State Board of Nursing oversees certifying those practitioners. Now, under this, if you're a patient, you can designate someone else to be a what's called caregiver. And basically that will be somebody in other states where you can cultivate. Sometimes caregivers will cultivate product for their patients. But here, since we don't have a cultivation, home grow, or anything like that, people can just designate caregivers to go and pick up their cannabis for them.
Yeah.
Caregivers must be 21 years old unless they are a patient's parent or guardian. And they may not assist more than 3 patients. As
because they're taking a little off the top.
Well, yeah, exactly. Be like, hey, it's supposed to weigh this much. This is you're short me.
Yeah.
But we got like legal protections in these bills and everything. Good. Like qualifying patients, medical practitioners, caregivers, and dispensaries and their staff are not subject to criminal or civil penalties, like discipline from professional and occupational licensing boards. A patient can have a 30-day supply in their residence and a 10-day supply on their person, going back to the board saying what is a 10-day supply, a 30-day supply, etc. Right. Default amounts they're gonna determine those. The presence of cannabis metabolites alone in your urine will not constitute being considered under the influence. So that's a big one right there. So they piss test you or something, just having it in your system will not allow them to be like, you're under the influence, immediately.
Yeah, you're going to have to check my eyes, and I got Visine, baby.
But it was pretty solid what they did, because like a lot of this stuff, a patient, you can't be denied organ transplants and other medical procedures because you use medical cannabis. Also, they provide protections for child custody and child welfare determinations for the state of legal medical use of cannabis, as long as it does not endanger the child, of course.
Facts.
It provides protections for students using medical cannabis, because sometimes you'd get denied loans if you're tested or something.
What about work? I guess it just is up to the different employer.
It's going to be treated as any other prescription regarding drug testing that is required by state or local law. Employers can still retain drug-free workplaces as they choose to, but as things continue on, I feel like that's going to become
a little lenient.
Yeah, more than likely. I know
obsolete.
I know somebody who was telling me recently, and he was like, "Yeah." He's like, I haven't smoked in like 2 years or whatever. And he was like, but I mentioned something. He was like, I asked the people at the tip top at my job, and he was like, once the first of the year happens, how are we all going to go about that? And more or less, the lady was like, well, honestly, like, we'll still keep testing for everything, but we're not going to give a fuck about like
marijuana use system, THC,
like that, as long as you're not like smoking rocks or nothing like
that.
Like, You
Because
got
that's how it
not
was
much
at
to worry
Amazon.
about.
Like they
Yeah,
tested
like
for everything but marijuana.
yeah, well, seeing that they some places, because they're more national companies and stuff like that. They they don't do full spectrum
Drug tests, drug
which
paneling,
test for
yeah.
everything. So it's a lot of places they kind of stop testing for it anyways.
Yeah,
As long as you don't do something. Now, if you mess up on the job, you get hurt on the job,
they
they'll
gonna
test
test
for
you.
it.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. The only limitation right now on like the methods of administration,
Mhm.
like they're not smoking is not allowed. Smoking of raw cannabis is not allowed. But cannabis vaporization is all in the good.
So like the Delta 8s and 11s and stuff.
Well, and like if you got a vape rig or whatever, like that's cool.
Okay.
There's multiple ways that you can vaporize it, but ultimately,
I would just probably go to edibles at that point. If it's legal, I'm just gonna go for the
I think
edibles.
a lot of people will.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've actually had a couple of disposables.
Yeah.
THC. Disposables.
They mess with my tongue.
And I actually don't find a problem with them. I actually kind of like them.
They dry my tongue out, or if I'm smoking it too much, it'll dry the corners of my lips out, like raw dry. Like
Yeah.
even if I put Carmex on them, it won't like moisturize them again.
Yeah.
It takes like a couple of days.
I think about the long-term ramifications of a lot of the extracts and stuff, though, too.
Yeah.
Because like when you consume flower, like you smoke or whatever, it's like you got plant material, and then the active ingredient is like the oils that are within,
Yeah.
as opposed to like the extracts and everything. Depending on what kind of extract you get, of course, it's like that's like the oil.
Yeah.
So like where smoking is only you get a little bit of oil, like dabbing and doing all that stuff is like
You
you're
get
getting
full
straight oil.
fledged. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so
it's like dabbing. I've hit a couple dabs with my cousins one time, and
It's a whole different type of high.
it messed with my anxiety.
Oh yeah, it's like,
Oh, yeah.
like 90% THC
yeah. And
or
now
something.
it's like even like
I did it once
it-
and almost fell off a 3-story balcony because I just went limp.
No
Yeah.
bueno. No
I went
bueno.
limp. Like it was bad.
like even
I
just
have seen it.
even hitting a vape pen of a THC, it was a different. Like it wasn't like hitting a dab. Like,
No, it was a different high.
Yeah, it was still like a mellow
Yeah.
high kind of. So it wasn't bad. It just
Oh yeah,
it
but
did its job.
good thing to know though is that moving into it now, there will be a 35% THC cap for raw cannabis. Edibles will not be able to exceed 10 milligrams of THC per serving. I'm sure they'll find ways to get around that.
Please
And-
do.
And concentrates are going to be capped at 70% THC. Now that's not bad. Like I
At
said,
all.
there's concentrates like they're like, oh, so it's like 90%.
Yeah.
But 70% is not a bad place. Not a bad place.
Not
to be.
at all.
You're not gonna
Hopefully
be,
those are the edibles.
Ooh. Well, I don't know. You better stock up, bro.
Right?
But as far as driving, obviously you're not going to be allowed to drive. If you're under the influence, you're not going to be able to undertake any task while under the influence that would be negligent, of course.
Of course.
And then, if you're driving, cannabis cannot be within a driver's reach unless it requires at least a 2-step process to open.
Okay.
So you gotta have it in your glove box.
Yeah.
In your glove box, but securely inside of something too.
Yeah, well,
It's
a lot
gotta
of the
be 2 steps.
packaging is made in such a way.
Oh, yeah.
Say it's like maybe you got like a wax seal with the
Yeah.
take off, and then you got to open up the
Yeah.
baggie or something. Then it's like it's 2 steps technically.
But when you said like in the glove box, I was thinking that because of like, what if there's kids in the back seat? You can't put it in the back seat,
Yeah.
so you have to put it like
Yeah, it'd be like it's for like the pre-rolls, like have them in
Yeah.
a pill bottle
yeah.
in your glove box. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be the move.
All right. Well, I'm excited to see what happens with the cannabis in Kentucky. I've been waiting for it to get here, waiting for the government to experience what real money's gonna look like coming into our state.
But I always said that we would be the last ones to get it.
Always.
And if Kamala wins, then
I don't know that she'll legalize it fully.
I don't
They're
know.
trying to decriminalize it.
I know they're trying to decriminalize it, but I don't think that like within her first year she'll like legalize it.
I don't
Depends
know.
on depends on if we have the House and the Senate.
Yeah, I think that's a big determination factor right there.
I hope we do.
Because they can still get it to a point where it's like, yeah, you wouldn't have to be like it's legal everywhere, but if you decriminalize it, then you can give it to the states to be like, look, just make your own policies and do what you feel is right.
Well, I'm excited to see how it turns out.
I know.
I can't wait to be handed a card.
And like I said, it takes everybody get out there and vote. For the right people. Like,
please.
I cannot stress that.
Go vote.
Like most of the time, and I'll tell you straight up. Like
early voting is going on now in some states.
Like I only have like a short voting history because I grew up when I turned 18. I was one of those people like, well, you know, after the whole George Bush and Al Gore thing, I was like, well, why am I voting? When
a lot of people are like, it don't even matter.
Yeah, it don't even
Facts,
matter.
yeah.
But no, this one matters.
It does. It really does.
This one matters.
I vote in every single election, and it goes without saying that fascism has no place in America.
Yes.
No place.
Everywhere else, there's probably fascism. Well, there definitely is, especially with like Russia. But y'all need to get out there and vote. If y'all have never voted before and you are of age, get out there and vote because this is going to make or break how you live life in America.
Yeah, because even one of our candidates,
I pray that man don't win.
His general that was in his cabinet told everybody that he's a fascist.
Literally,
a wannabe dictator. Mitch McConnell, which I despise for Kentucky, was calling him stupid, a degenerate, you know, wannabe dictator. Everything bad for America.
Yeah, but they'll all fall in line because that's the type of it's the kind of stuff that they do.
Well, not him. He's kicked out of the Congress now, so he got too old. So, but then that means we're gonna.
He still got pushed though.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got plenty of nice shit to say.
He got his buddy Rand Paul to be the senior, to be junior
senator. Yeah, but we'll see how that shit goes.
I really hope that we have I really don't even know the Democratic candidate that's running for Senate in Kentucky. I really don't.
It was Booker, wasn't it?
Was it? Is it Booker now?
I don't know if it is now.
If it's Booker, I'm definitely.
But Andy Beshear's running for state representative or Senate. Which one? He's running for something else.
I don't know. That'd be interesting.
Because his run is over.
Yeah, his term.
Yeah, he's running for something else for sure. But
but we still have him till 2026 or 2027 or something like that. We don't
entirely.
Look. Yeah, we don't vote.
But we got him for at least a little bit.
We got him for a little bit longer, so we won't have to worry about that until next time.
And I just want to clarify for everybody listening here, I am not a Democrat. I am an independent. So, I mean, I might lean left on some stuff, but it's like I'm not. I sound biased, but that's just because I fucking hate fascists. That's it.
Period.
I mean, I'm the same way. I'm really not. I mean, I'm registered Democrat, but at the same time, I'm for whoever has the best interest for the country and for me.
I'm registered Democrat, and I feel like the Democrats really have what's the best interest this election.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Like there's been plenty of other elections where I'm like, this is a little shady on our behalf. But this election, we got crooked ass Trump or Kamala.
Yeah. Once Biden stepped to the side, I was like, oh shit, it's about to get real.
So make sure y'all get out there and vote. As y'all can tell, there is so much that we've talked about and so much more to be talked about. And we're going to bring it to y'all.
Yeah, because I mean, we're gonna keep hitting the campaigns until November 5th.
Until election day, and it's coming.
Yeah,
I think we got two more episodes.
We doing this season a little longer just to keep up with it for y'all.
Yeah,
so, and then
we're not gonna end the season out until after the election,
until the results come in. So,
yeah, and then we might start it back up
in Canada.
Thanks. Letting y'all know that we have abandoned ship.
Because I mean, especially when the next season rolls around, I got basketball and stuff to talk about.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got
Oh,
time
yeah.
for this politicking.
Yes, but we definitely gonna keep y'all informed even after the election's over on the presidency and who wins and how the transition of power happens. But until then, until next episode, I'm your boy Javi,
Yeah, with the boy D-Lo.
and we got our special guest
Omega Green.
in
Thank
the
you for
building.
having me.
Yes,
Yeah, man.
anytime.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and we will catch you next episode.
Peace.
Laters.